My name is Madison, and today is my 24th birthday. But instead of celebrating, I'm in the middle of a 12-hour shift at Memorial Hospital. As the charge nurse in the pediatric ward, I spend my days working to protect the smiles of children. Now, let me tell you about the birthday message that would change my life forever. It was 2 p.m. when I finally got a moment to breathe. My phone lit up. I thought it was a birthday message from my family, but when I looked at the screen, "I sold your car. The family comes first. You should be grateful we even let you live here." My heart nearly stopped. It was a car I had bought with my own money. Money I earned as a nurse, saving for 2 long years. The title was supposed to be in my name, and my name only. Then, a second message came through. Derek's college tuition is due this week. $5,800. You're paying it. Derek is my younger brother. He's always been the family's golden child, treated like a prince. What would you do if your family sold something precious of yours without permission, and then demanded a huge sum of money? Tell me in the comments. You won't believe what happened next. Now, let me explain my family dynamic: the golden child and the exploited daughter. In my family, the Sanders family, there was one absolute rule. My father, Frank, ruled with an iron fist, and my mother, Linda, followed him without question. And my brother, Derek, he was the perfect golden child who could do no wrong. I started working at 16. When I turned 18, my father declared, "You're not getting a free ride anymore. You'll pay $400 a month in rent." $400 a month, while I was still in high school. Over 6 years, I paid my parents $24,000 in rent alone. And what did Derek pay during that time? Zero. His room was filled with the latest gaming consoles and expensive sneakers, anything he wanted. He even got a car for his 16th birthday. I had to rely on the bus and my own 2 feet until I could afford my own. When I received a small scholarship for nursing school, my parents said, "We provide a roof over your head. It's only right that you give the scholarship money to the family." And the exploitation didn't stop there. My late grandmother left me a beautiful pearl necklace. One day, I saw it shining around my mother's neck. "It's for the family to share," she explained, as if it were the most natural thing in the world. But I never gave up. I studied at a community college, juggled clinicals between part-time jobs, and stayed up all night studying. I earned my license as a registered nurse. Last month, I was officially promoted to charge nurse of the pediatric ward. My colleague, Amelia, gave me a bracelet with a stethoscope charm. "To our future star nurse," the card read. In that moment, I felt a sense of pride I had never been allowed to feel at home. And then there was my car. A used Toyota Corolla, but it was all mine. I saved for 2 years and negotiated the price myself. When I drove it home, my father just scoffed. "If you had consulted me, I could have gotten you a better deal." But I didn't care. The keys in my hand represented something he couldn't control: the betrayal on my birthday. Tension in the family had been rising for weeks, ever since Derek's college acceptance letters started arriving. "Your brother has a bright future," my father would repeat at every dinner. The unspoken comparison stabbed at me every time. Last Sunday, they announced Derek had chosen the state university. "It's the best business program in the region," my father declared with pride. But no one talked about how they would afford the tuition for this prestigious school. Now I know. They planned on using my money all along. After receiving those shocking texts at the hospital, I tried calling my father. Voicemail. I called my mother. She picked up on the 4th ring. "Madison, I'm busy right now," she said, her voice artificially cheerful. "Mom, what is Dad talking about? He can't just sell my car, can he?" There was a pause. Then she said, "Your father handled everything. We needed the money for family expenses. Besides, you live here practically for free, so it's only fair, isn't it?" Her casual dismissal of my property rights made me dizzy. Mom, that's theft. You can't sell something that doesn't belong to you. Don't be so dramatic, she sighed. Your father added his name to the title when he took it for an inspection. My signature had been forged. You signed the papers, remember? I did remember. One morning, as I was rushing to work, my father shoved a document in front of me. Car registration renewal, he had said. The reality of their deception hit me like a physical blow. What about the tuition money? I managed to ask. We're just being fair. We've supported you for years. Now it's your turn to help your brother. That's what family does. After I hung up, a text from Derek came in. Thanks for helping with tuition, sis. Dad says you're covering my first semester. You're the best. The innocent entitlement in his message pushed me from shock to pure rage. And so began the Last Supper. I worked the rest of my shift on autopilot. By the time I clocked out, 3 more messages from my father had arrived. We need the tuition by Friday. You're stressing out your mother. Stop causing trouble. Family obligations come before personal desires. I canceled my birthday dinner with friends. This situation needed to be handled immediately. Once again, my birthday was sacrificed for family drama. When I got home, the smell of pot roast filled the house, my mother's go-to dish for difficult conversations. The table was set with the good china. There she is, my father called from his recliner. The birthday girl finally comes home. Where is my car? Sold it this morning. Got a cash offer I couldn't refuse, he said, finally looking at me. His expression was a challenge. Derek's tuition is due soon, so the timing was perfect. You had no right, I said, keeping my voice steady. That was my property. My mother emerged from the kitchen. Let's not start the night with an argument. I made your favorite dessert. Chocolate cake doesn't fix Grand Theft Auto, Mom. Derek bounded down the stairs. Hey, tuition fairy. Dad says you're covering my first semester. The casual sense of ownership in his voice, what's mine is yours, made something inside me snap. Years of accepting their terms crystallized into a single moment of clarity. This would never happen again. Dinner started with tense small talk. Finally, my father cleared his throat. Now about Derek's tuition. We need a check by Friday. I carefully placed my fork down. I will not be paying for Derek's tuition. What do you mean you won't be paying? His voice was conversational, but his knuckles turned white around his water glass. I mean, no. I am not giving you $5,800. I am not funding Derek's education. And you had no legal right to sell my car. My mother cut in. Madison, be reasonable. We've given you everything. I paid for nursing school myself. I pay rent. I buy groceries. And that car was titled in my name until Dad added his own without my knowledge. My father's face darkened. You ungrateful brat. You live in our house practically for free. I pay $400 a month in rent plus utilities and groceries. That's not free. It's nothing compared to what an apartment would cost, he yelled. Then maybe it's time I got my own apartment. Derek looked bewildered. Wait, you're not paying my tuition? I turned to him. No, Derek, I'm not. You'll have to apply for student loans, like most college students do. This is ridiculous, my father said, standing up. Your brother deserves an education. Family supports family. It's funny how that support only seems to flow in one direction, I replied, remaining seated. My mother started to cry. Why would you do this to us, to your brother? We're a family. A family doesn't steal from each other. A family doesn't forge signatures on a title transfer. And a family doesn't demand someone's life savings as an obligation. My father's face was an alarming shade of red. Madison, you have 2 choices. You can either write a check for your brother's tuition by Friday, or you can find somewhere else to live. I slowly stood up, matching his posture. Is that your final decision? And if you walk out that door without agreeing, you are dead to me." The threat, which would have worked in the past, now sounded hollow. Something fundamental inside me had shifted. "I'll have my things out by morning," I said quietly. My mother gasped. "You can't be serious." "I'll manage." "I always have," Derek chimed in. "She's bluffing. She always caves." "Not this time," I said without turning back. "Happy birthday to me." My father's voice followed me up the stairs. "You will regret this decision for the rest of your life." This is where my strategic retreat began. They didn't understand. The only thing I regretted was not doing this years ago. That night, in my room, I leaned against the closed door. The weight of what I'd done threatened to crush me. 24 years of obedience, shattered in a single conversation. But underneath the anxiety, something unexpected was bubbling up. Liberation. I sat on my bed and picked up my phone. 3 missed calls from Amelia. I called her back first. "Madison, are you okay? We're at the restaurant, wondering where you are. I have a huge favor to ask. Can I stay with you tonight?" The family situation. It just blew up. "Of course. Do you need me to come get you?" "I'll call an Uber." "Thank you, seriously." Next, I called Casey, who had recently mentioned an opening in her apartment building. "Is that 1 bedroom still available? I need to move immediately." While my family continued their dinner downstairs, I began a systematic inventory of my life. What mattered most? What could fit into 2 suitcases? As I packed, memories of their past financial manipulations surfaced. My first paycheck from the hospital, which my father insisted I contribute to a family vacation fund. The $300 my aunt gave me for Christmas, which my mother took for safekeeping and never returned. Each incident, in isolation, had seemed reasonable. But together, they formed a pattern of systematic financial abuse that had stolen more than just money. Now, it was time to gather the evidence. I pulled out my laptop and checked my bank account. I had a little over $7,000 saved for an apartment. A text from Tina came through. "My cousin manages the Ridgeview Apartments. Want me to have her call you?" Support was materializing from the most unexpected places. While cleaning out my closet, I found a folder with my car documents. The original title showed only my name. Attached to it was the new registration, with my father's forged signature. I systematically photographed every document, every receipt, every piece of proof of purchase and ownership. In my desk drawer, I found years of rent receipts, handwritten by my father, for $400 every month since I turned 18. Deeper in the drawer were bank statements showing grocery bills I'd covered, handwritten lists of household items I'd bought for the family, and notes on bill payments. Without realizing it, I had been documenting the financial imbalance for years. By midnight, 2 suitcases and a backpack contained the portable parts of my life. During this time, a plan formed, not just for immediate escape, but for long-term justice. I was ready to launch my legal counterattack. Using my laptop, I created a comprehensive spreadsheet. Every financial transaction, every loan never repaid, every item taken. Sale of my car, approximately $12,000. 6 years of monthly rent, $24,000. Household contributions beyond rent, approximately $8,000. Graduation money, $1,000. Scholarship money, $5,000 by a conservative estimate. The total exceeded $43,000. In a separate document, I drafted a formal letter. It was a professional accounting of the funds owed, the illegally sold property, and my intent to seek legal remedy if it was not addressed. I cited relevant laws regarding illegal property transfer, tenant rights, and familial financial abuse. The final document was 27 pages long. Around 1 a.m., I made 3 copies of the entire document package. 1 to stay with me, 1 for my lawyer, and 1 to be left for my family to find. By 2 a.m., my preparations were complete. I changed the passwords on all my accounts and wiped my personal information from any shared family devices. The last item I packed was a framed photo of my grandmother. "Always know your worth," she once told me. Tonight, I finally understood what she meant. My quiet escape. At 3 a.m., the house creaked with its familiar nightly sounds. Each step was calculated to avoid the noisy spots on the staircase. In the kitchen, I placed one copy of the document package on the counter. It was clearly labeled in bold letters, a financial reckoning for my family. They would find it when they woke up. I emailed a lawyer, attaching digital copies of all the documents and requesting an appointment for later that day. My phone showed several texts sent after I'd left the dinner table. "Dad, this is ridiculous. Come downstairs and apologize. Mom, don't upset your father anymore. Derek, thanks for ruining my college plans. So selfish." I wrote a single text to my mother. "I'm safe. Do not contact me." Then I silenced all notifications from my family. I looked at the empty space in the driveway where my car should have been. It felt like a physical representation of everything they had taken. My Uber driver, Patricia, didn't ask any questions. "Long night," was her only comment. "Long life," I replied. "But it's getting better." And then, a new dawn. 20 minutes later, I saw Amelia's apartment building. Despite the hour, she was waiting in the lobby. "The guest room is yours for as long as you need it," she said, helping me with my bags. "Want to talk? Or wait until morning?" "Morning. And thank you." The guest room was small but comfortable. Despite everything, sleep came almost instantly. It was deeper and more peaceful than any night I had spent under my parents' roof. The next morning, I woke up to sunlight and the smell of coffee. "Good morning, warrior. How are you feeling?" "Like I should have done this years ago," I answered honestly. "Your phone has been buzzing off the hook." I picked it up. 27 missed calls, 43 text messages, and numerous voicemails. They were not just from my immediate family, but from aunts, uncles, and family friends. The document package had been discovered. The most interesting text was from my Aunt Susan, which came after the family group chat had exploded. "What did you leave behind? Your father is furious. Did you really document everything? It's complete panic mode over here." My mother's messages shifted from anger to manipulation. "How could you do this to your own family? If this gets out, your father could lose his job." "Come home." My father's messages. "This is slander. We gave you everything. You will regret this betrayal." And finally, "What will it take to make this go away? Name your price." There it was. When confronted with evidence of years of financial exploitation, his first reaction was to try to make another transaction. Derek's message surprised me the most. "Dad is freaking out. Is it true they sold your car without your permission? That's messed up. What is even real here?" It was the first hint that my brother wasn't a willing accomplice, but simply a beneficiary of the family dynamics. Beginning the legal fight back. A new text arrived from Susan. "Your father is arguing with the neighbors. Your mother won't stop crying." I had no idea things were this bad. "Can you talk?" I only replied to Susan's message. "I'm safe. I'm seeking legal advice today." A few days later, my meeting with the lawyer, Judith Bennett, went better than I could have hoped. After reviewing my documentation, she confirmed what I already suspected. I had a strong case for asset recovery. The car sale is the clearest issue. Forging a signature is fraud. Plain and simple. By the end of our 90-minute consultation, we had a plan. A formal demand letter for the return of the proceeds from the car sale, documentation filed with the city about the fraudulent title transfer, and preparation for a civil lawsuit if necessary. Cases like this often settle once the exploiting party realizes that exposure is imminent. Judith assured me. After leaving the law office, Amelia and I met Tina's cousin at the Ridgeview Apartments. The available one-bedroom wasn't luxurious, but it was clean, safe, and within my budget. I signed the lease on the spot. By late that afternoon, I had an apartment, legal representation, and the beginning of a new, independent life. My phone showed 112 missed calls, 76 voicemails, and over 200 text messages. The most surprising was a long text from Derek himself. "Madison, I didn't know about any of this. I read your documents. I had no idea they were taking your car payments and your graduation money. If I was part of hurting you, I'm sorry." The first crack in the family narrative. My bank sent an automated fraud alert. Multiple attempts to access my online banking from an unrecognized device. They were trying to get into my accounts. Aunt Susan's messages became more urgent. "Your parents are falling apart. Your father has been on the phone with lawyers all day." The police came. "Your mother told me about the jewelry. I finally called her from the safety of my new apartment." "Madison, are you safe?" "I'm fine." A new beginning. Your documents. I had no idea things were that bad. The documentation speaks for itself. Bank records don't lie. It was the very morning you left. He panicked and tried to report your car as stolen to the police. The officer asked to see the title. He instantly recognized the forgery from a handwriting comparison and DMV records. Now he's the one who might be facing charges. And every lawyer he called told him the same thing, she continued. "Not only do you not have a case," they said, "but forgery is a criminal offense." That's when he finally gave up. The consequences were unfolding faster than I had ever anticipated. The sweet taste of victory. The conversation continued, filling in the details of the family meltdown happening across town. My father alternating between rage and panic, my mother cycling through tears and accusations, and Derek growing more withdrawn as he processed the true dynamics of our family. After I hung up, I sat in my nearly empty apartment. Everything I owned in the world fit into this small space. And yet, somehow, I had never felt so rich. Amelia texted, "Dinner at my place tonight. The whole crew from the floor is coming." A birthday should not go uncelebrated. That night, surrounded by friends who had become sisters, I experienced a birthday celebration untainted by family manipulation. Small gifts appeared: a plant for my new apartment, a gift card for essentials, a framed copy of my nursing license to replace the one I'd left behind. "A toast to Madison," Amelia said, raising her glass. "To someone who has finally realized her worth is not determined by those who try to bring her down." Late that night, in my new apartment, I allowed myself to fully process the magnitude of the change. The anger at years of exploitation. The fear of an uncertain future. But mostly, the profound liberation of finally living authentically. My phone continued to collect messages from my family. From Dad. The police came asking about the car sale. "Is this what you wanted?" From Mom. "Please call. Your father is talking about moving to avoid the shame." From Derek. "I applied for a student loan today." Dad is furious. "Is this why you always seemed so stressed about money?" My lawyer called with an update. "Your father's attorney has contacted me. They wish to discuss settlement terms regarding the car and the other financial issues." "So soon?" I asked, surprised. "The evidence is overwhelming. Plus, there's the potential criminal exposure with the forged title. They are motivated to resolve this quietly." By the end of my birthday week, my new life was taking shape. Basic furniture filled the apartment, and the hospital approved my request for extra shifts to rebuild my savings. Most importantly, my father agreed, through his lawyer, to return the car's full market value of $12,000, plus an additional $26,000 as partial compensation for the documented financial abuse, for a total of $38,000. It wasn't everything I was owed, but it was enough to secure my new beginning without a protracted legal battle. It was a realistic compromise to avoid the mental and financial costs of a long court fight. Building new relationships. Derek enrolled in a community college instead of the larger university. "I'm actually saving money this way," he told me. "I might get my associate's degree here and then start working. It makes more financial sense." His financial awakening continued to evolve through regular texts and occasional phone calls. "Dad tried to borrow from my savings account yesterday. I'm finally starting to understand what you went through." My mother attempted to reconcile through intermediaries, Aunt Susan, then a family friend, each carrying messages of her worry, without any acknowledgement of the substantial wrongdoing. "She misses you," they would report. I maintained a polite but firm boundary. "I'm doing well. I'm building a new life. I'm not ready for contact yet." My father remained silent after the settlement. His pride was more wounded than his wallet. "He doesn't understand why you had to make a family matter public," Aunt Susan explained. "He still sees it as a betrayal rather than self-preservation." His opinion mattered less and less each day. His approval was no longer the currency of my self-worth. Professionally, I thrived. My promotion to charge nurse was made permanent, and there were hints from nursing administration about a potential move onto the management track. Free from the financial drain of my family, I was able to pursue additional certifications, expanding my career options. Amelia and the other nurses remained a steady presence. Weekend brunches, movie nights, hiking trips to the nearby state park. The family I chose, not the one I inherited. 3 months after I left, Aunt Susan arranged a carefully structured meeting. Just her, Derek, and me at a neutral restaurant. No parents, no pressure. "You know," Susan said, "I always had my doubts about your father's ways. My late mother, your grandmother, was also very worried about you. But I never felt like I could interfere in family matters. You gave me the courage to finally do what I knew was right. I just never saw it before," Derek admitted over dinner. "The way they treated us so differently, how much they took from you while giving to me. It was so normal, I never questioned it." "That's how family systems work," I explained. "Everyone plays their assigned part. The golden child doesn't see the scapegoat's burden because they aren't meant to. I'm sorry I was a part of that." "Was the tuition demand the last straw?" "The car was the last straw," I corrected him. Taking something I had worked so hard for, something that represented my independence. The tuition was just confirmation of how they saw me, not as a daughter, but as an ATM. That night marked the beginning of healing, not with my parents, but with the family members capable of growth and acknowledgement. Derek and I established a new relationship based on mutual respect. Susan became a surrogate mother figure. 6 months after my birthday revelation, I received a letter from my father. Not an apology or a reconciliation, but a notification. "We're selling the house and downsizing. If you want any of your remaining belongings, arrange to pick them up by the end of the month." Derek helped me retrieve my remaining things and childhood mementos. Our parents were conveniently absent during our scheduled visit. The room I had occupied for 24 years was already being partially converted into a storage space. My presence was already being erased. "They're struggling," Derek reported. "Dad's pride won't let him admit he was wrong, but the family knows." Everyone saw the documentation. Rumors spread through the neighborhood, and people saw him frantically calling lawyers. Their standing has changed. It was a social consequence I hadn't sought or intended, but perhaps a necessary one for systemic change. On my strip bed, my mother had left a sealed envelope, placed right in the center, with no name on it. Inside were my grandmother's pearl necklace and earrings, returned without a note or explanation. A silent acknowledgement of the one wrongdoing she could perhaps admit to. An epilogue 1 year later. Today marks 1 year since the birthday text message that changed everything. My new apartment has become a true home. My career continues to ascend. My finances are more stable than ever. Most importantly, the constant anxiety that accompanied every interaction with my parents has faded, replaced by a confidence in my boundaries and decisions. The family relationships continue to evolve. Derek visits regularly, our sibling bond rebuilt on healthier terms. Susan and her husband include me in their holiday gatherings, creating new traditions. My parents themselves remain distant figures. Occasional updates received through family channels. Their downsized home, my father's early retirement, my mother's health concerns. I receive this information with compassion, but always from a safe distance. These boundaries are essential to protect the peace I fought so hard to win. And that peace is built on one firm rule. I will not see them until they offer a genuine apology. And that peace is built on one firm rule. I will not see them until they offer a genuine apology. The most valuable lesson from this journey came from my lawyer, Judith Bennett. Family isn't who you share DNA with. Family are the people who respect your boundaries, celebrate your successes without jealousy, and love you without conditions or an invoice attached. I have built that family now. Friends who have become sisters, colleagues who have become supporters, a brother reclaimed from a toxic dynamic, an extended family who chose a relationship over allegiance to a harmful system. The freedom I fought for has blossomed into something more than just independence. It has become genuine connection. Relationships based on mutual respect, not obligation and exploitation. The family I deserved all along. A message of hope. If you are watching this, and any part of my story resonates with your own experience, please know that you deserve better. Financial abuse within a family often goes unrecognized because it's wrapped in the language of duty and loyalty. But love doesn't take. Love doesn't exploit. Love doesn't come with a price tag. What boundaries do you need to establish in your own relationships? Have you experienced similar dynamics in your family? Please share your thoughts in the comments below. If you are currently struggling with unfair treatment from your family, I hope you can learn from my experience. First, keep records. If I hadn't gathered evidence, my situation might have been dismissed as a simple family squabble. Receipts, messages, bank records. They are all weapons of truth. Second, don't go through it alone. Just as I was able to ask for help from colleagues like Amelia, Casey, and Tina, there are people around you who will support you. Don't be ashamed to speak up. And third, know your legal options. Being family doesn't give anyone a free pass. Fraud is fraud, and theft is theft. Consulting with a professional will show you that you have more options than you think. My father threatened me, saying, "You are dead to me." But what truly died was the old relationship that controlled and exploited me. And from its ashes, a real family and real love were born. The most important thing is to never forget your own worth. Remember my grandmother's words. Always know your worth. Your worth is not determined by how your family treats you. It's not determined by how much you can pay for others. As I turn the key to my new apartment and water the houseplant I chose with my own hands, I am certain that my worth comes from living with integrity, defending my boundaries, and taking care of myself. For 24 years, I sacrificed myself for the sake of family peace. But that peace was a lie. True peace came when I chose to live as my authentic self. Finally, to all of you, thank you so much for watching this video to the end. If you know a friend or family member in a similar situation, please share this video with them. I want as many people as possible to know that they have a choice. Feel free to write about your experiences and thoughts in the comments section. Let's support each other. And don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps bring hope to others facing similar challenges. And remember, you are not alone. You have value. You have the right to choose a better life. Like me, I am certain a day will come when you find the courage to say, no more. Until that day comes, and when it does, I'll be cheering for you. Sometimes, the bravest thing you can do is say, no more, and walk toward the life you deserve. Thank you.